Yes, my name is Tamzin Murray and I am an actress, writer. I started acting when I was like 7. My mum was like, get out of the house, because I had all this energy and I was just bouncing off the walls. So she put me in a drama school and I loved it and I stayed in it. I did pantomimes and all that kind of thing when I was younger. And then I got to about 16 and I was like, I really want to do this seriously. So I went to a drama school. And then I went to study in America because I had done no screen, so I went to study there so that I could study acting for film. And then I came back and the ball started rolling. Studying in America was amazing because I met so many people. And there was a certain level of independence that came. I went by myself, I didn't know anybody, and I didn't really know much about acting for film. I'd always done stage. So the overall experience was just incredible. And I believe that if you go somewhere looking to learn, you will learn. And I went there with the mindset of everything I could do. I just wanted to learn. Every person I met, I wanted to know about them. I wanted to know their story. So I came back with a wealth of experience. When I came back to the UK, it was interesting because in America, everybody is so receptive and warm and bubbly, and everybody is chasing the same dream, but they're rooting for you, and it's beautiful. And when I got here, I didn't realize how much of a contrast there was in that the energy wasn't like everybody is very much independent and very much focused on their own, whereas over there it was very much like we're all in this together kind of thing. So it was an interesting adjustment. It wasn't hard, it was just interesting. It made me think, okay, where do I want to work and how do I want to work? What kind of artist do I want to be? I want to create a safe space where everybody feels like we're in this together. So that's what I tried to do. He's a godsend. Working with CJ was amazing. He's truly, truly, truly a gifted actor. And I love seeing people who are passionate about what they do. He's very passionate about what he does. He takes care of the project, and he gives to the project. You know, he's very honest, and that was a blessing. It was a pleasure to work with him. Yeah. Playing that character was very interesting because it's something that I can relate to. It's something that I know a lot of people who can also relate to that. And so I really wanted to do the character justice. I wanted to do the story justice. I wanted to tell it in an honest way. I wanted to make sure that Arnold, the director and writer, was pleased with the project as well, because it's a sensitive subject and it's something that a lot of people silently struggle with. So it was a very interesting role, but a good role, a really good role, yeah. I've felt conflicted in a similar way before to that character, and it's interesting, whether it's relationships or friendships or work, there are certain things that you have to make a decision, okay, am I okay with this? Is this wise? Is this serving me? And if it's not, I have to let go of this thing, even if the thing is wonderful. So in the film, there was nothing wrong with her partner. You know, he was a lovely guy. They'd been in the relationship for however long. They'd been happy. But now that she'd found her faith, there's certain things that they were doing that were no longer okay. And that's something that I believe a lot of people can relate to, because even in work, you know, you could be offered a job and the job could be wonderful, but does it serve you? And if you are a person of faith, does it serve your faith? And is it something that you're willing to compromise on no matter how great the perks look? So it's definitely something that I could relate to, yeah. So Still is a short film that is written by myself and directed by myself. And it is about a couple who are dealing with the grief or the loss of their son. So they're dealing with grief. And it is about how difficult it can be when you're faced with grief to discuss it, to heal from it, and to move forward from it. So still is exploring that first conversation where all cards are on the table because they've both been hiding from each other while dealing with their grief. I made a film like this because I myself had dealt with grief. I lost my dad. And when I lost my dad, I didn't know how to articulate that feeling. And I knew that everything would be worked out for my good, you know. I knew God had a plan, even if I didn't understand it. But knowing that he had a plan was all I could hold on to, and that actually made me not know how to speak about it. And my brother is a superhero. He's amazing, and his process with dealing with the grief, he was very transparent with how he was feeling, and I loved it, and I admire it. I still admire it because he was able to articulate, if this is how I'm feeling today, I can tell you that. And I didn't. So I thought it would be interesting to explore how humans deal with grief when one person is able to articulate and the other person doesn't. I chose CJ and Andrea because I had seen them in Pride and Pack work together. They are amazing together. And I knew I could trust them with the piece. I knew I could trust them with the story. I knew that they would understand where it was coming from for me. And I knew that as actors, that they could be trusted with a script. They could be trusted with something that requires a lot emotionally. And they both did amazing jobs. Directing for the first time was interesting because it was very new, and I kind of have a way that I like to work with actors when it comes to the stage. So on stage, like, there's a lot of prep that I like to do, and so I wanted to carry that into the film. I wanted us to have a lot of time to do that, and we did. So it was very. It was amazing seeing it come alive and seeing what they brought to the project and how responsive they were. If I had a suggestion, they were both very responsive, very open. And if they had a suggestion, they were also very open about it. So my process for directing was trusting. It sounds so cliche, but trusting that I could do this. It's very, very strange. Trusting that everything that I see in my mind, I can be bold enough to say, bold enough to require, bold enough to ask, while making sure that my actors were okay. So yeah, not being afraid of saying how I see it and checking in. Are you okay? Does this make sense? You know, and kind of walking through that journey with them and having rehearsal time as well. Yeah. Challenges I've faced as an actor. One of the most interesting challenges I faced as an actor would be overcoming fear, which is interesting because you have to be confident to be an actor. And I found that the industry, especially when I was younger, not so much now, but when I was younger, the industry has a way of kind of making you feel like maybe you're not enough, or maybe you need something else, or, you know, because the industry is always going to be tough. You're always going to hear no's. And so I think when I was younger, that was the first thing that was really, really difficult because I didn't quite understand. Whereas now, I do understand. It's no longer a challenge. It's like, if this isn't your role, it's somebody else's gift. And that doesn't disqualify you. It doesn't mean that you're not okay. It doesn't mean that you're not good enough. It doesn't mean that you're not valid or anything. It just means that it's for someone else and that yours is coming. So you just have to wait and find the beauty in that wait. And that was one of my biggest challenges, but is now one of my biggest blessings. Yeah. I would say to other actors who are upcoming, don't be afraid. Trust yourself. Trust what God has given you. Enjoy the wait, learn your craft, learn your industry, because when you know what you have, that gives you the confidence to wait, that gives you the confidence to grow, it gives you the confidence to move. So just learn yourself, learn your skills. What are you good at? What's your strengths? What excites you in this industry? And never forget why you fell in love with acting in the first place. You know, when you're starting out, you're doing it because it's fun, doing it because you love it. And keep that and that will keep you going throughout the whole process.